Hey guys, Oswald5 here with the final Premier League ratings prediction video with Tottenham Hotspur. So, let's get right into this one. We're kicking it off with Hugo Lloris. And we're kicking it off with a downgrade, unfortunately. A -1 downgrade to an 87. This is based off the fact that Hugo Lloris kept less clean sheets last season than he did the season before. And also, this 88 rated is probably going to be largely due to the fact that France won the World Cup and he was the captain of that squad. I think that had a big effect on his rating. An 87 I think is fair. He could go down to an 86, which is what I gave Kepa. But I think an 87 should be fair enough. He is getting on in age, so he will probably slowly decline downwards. But I think an 87 is fair for him. That would rank him as fourth highest goalkeeper I've given. He is lower than De Gea, Alisson and Ederson. It would then be him at 87 and then Kepa at 86, which I think is fair ranking of all the goalkeepers. As we move on, there are 3 players that are remaining at the same rating. They are Danny Rose, Jan Vertonghen and Toby Alderweireld. Now, Rose and Vertonghen didn't get upgrades in the winter, but Alderweireld did go from an 85 to an 87 in the winter refresh. So I think it should be fine for him to keep his rating because of the upgrade. I don't think he'll go back down to an 85 or an 86. And as for Danny Rose and Vertonghen, I think they both had seasons last year that didn't deserve an upgrade. They weren't quite that good. They did get to the Champions League final, but I don't think they were quite... If they'd won it, maybe they would have got an upgrade. But I think their seasons were very similar to the seasons before. And for that reason, I'm keeping their ratings at the same level as they were. But the first upgrade of the video, Davinson Sanchez going from an 84 to an 85. Again, they got to the Champions League final, they finished 4th place. And I think it's fair enough to give Davinson Sanchez, who was a big part of that, an upgrade. I think he played centre-back a lot, and Vertonghen actually played out on the left when Danny Rose was injured, I think, because he got that left wing-back card for a man-of-the-match performance against Dortmund, I think it was. And I think Sanchez was playing centre-back for that game. He did very well last season. I can't remember when they signed Sanchez. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I think he did good enough to deserve an 85. That would put him as one of the higher-rated centre-backs we've given so far. You could argue that he should set an 84, because I think I gave Matip an 84 as well, when he wasn't better than Matip in my opinion. So 84, he could remain at an 84. That could be a fair rating for him already. And maybe you get a winter upgrade if he continues his good form. Moving on though, we are going to go to the right back position with Serge Aurier. Now, this is a player I can't quite remember if he was injured or not last season. I think he got little injuries throughout the season that just didn't mean he could play consistently. And for that reason, we're keeping his rating at 81. Obviously, we've done a couple of stat changes, but the overall rating isn't changing. And I think that's fair enough. We've done that for most of the players that were injured last season, apart from Bellerin, who we actually gave an upgrade. But I think it's fair for him to keep at that. Now, moving on to the man that has started off the season at right back for Spurs, Kyle Walker-Peters. Obviously, they sold Trippier, so is Kyle Walker-Peters' turn to take the limelight. We've given him a +5 from a 69 overall non-rare to a 74 overall shiny silver. And I think it's fair enough to say. I was saying a couple of episodes back, there is a lot of talent at the right back position for England. Kyle Walker-Peters is one of them. And I think a +5 is deserved. He had a good season. He played 6 times last season. But I think based on the fact that he's young, a lot of potential, plays for Spurs, they will all boost his rating. I think the 69 overall, he wasn't really well known before last season. He played a couple of games against Newcastle the season before, but I think 74 overall is fair. Maybe even push for a gold. Moving on into the midfield, we've got Eric Dyer. He's a Dyer player. We're going to give him a -2. Didn't really do anything last season. He scored the goal against Colombia to win us the penalty shootout. Other than that, I can't remember anything from his previous season. And for that, I'm going to give him a -2 to a 78, which I think is fair. He is just not that good. People compared him to Henderson, and I think Henderson is much, much better than Eric Dyer. Way, way better. Moving on to one of his midfield partners is Sissoko. He had a very good season last season. Was very, very good in the midfield for Tottenham. Started off this season just as good. He wasn't he wasn't the best against Newcastle yesterday, but no Spurs player really was that good in that game. But we're going to give him a +4 from a 76 overall to an 80 overall. Again, this might be a bit of a boost, a bit of a big boost. He could go to maybe a 79, but I think it's a fair rating. And if you look at those stats, he is probably the perfect starting centre mid on Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team Day 1, you're going to want to go for this Sissoko card. All round, decent. Moving on to a new signing for Spurs. This is Tanguy Ndombele. He also got an upgrade in the winter to an 80. I'm going to give him a +3 because he continued his form from the winter onwards. He got into the team of the season in France. I think +3 is fair, and he also got a big move. So a lot of factors going in towards the fact that he should get a +3 upgrade. And Ndombele, we're going to give him an 83, which is putting him as the highest rated centre midfielder from Spurs, joint with the next man, another new signing for them. I think they got him on loan with an option to buy. It's Lo Celso. They signed from Real Betis, who signed him from PSG, who they loaned him from, and then bought him from. So Spurs are doing to Real Betis what Betis did to PSG. But we're going to give him a +1 to a 83. He was an 82. Again, the fact there's a big move. He had a good season last season, and I think it's fair, an 83, putting him joint highest rated centre midfielder with Ndombele. Another player I think is going to get an 83 is Dele Alli. His season last season was not as good as it should have been here. For the 84, he had a 9-goal, 10-assist season. Last season, I think it wasn't even half as good as that. So he was injured a few times. He's injured right now. But I think a -1 is fair to an 83. And when he comes back, if he can put in a good form, good shift again, get picked for the England team, he'll get that Whitner upgrade back up to an 84, maybe even 85. Moving on to another player. He got into the team of the season last season on FIFA, at least. It is Christian Eriksen. I've given him a +1 to an 89 rated card. He is their most creative player. Probably one of the best creative players in the Premier League. He saved them quite a few times. He saved them against Brighton last season. It was 1-0 to Brighton, and he scored a long shot against them and made it 1-1. So he saved them a couple of points last season. And yeah, I think a plus upgrade for him is fair. Moving on to the final 3 players. Now, these ones I will have a lot to talk about. We've got Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, and Lucas Moura. Now, for Heung-min Son and Lucas Moura, I've given both of them +2 upgrades, but I didn't know whether to give them position change upgrades because Son and Lucas both played at the striker position at one point last season when Harry Kane was injured. So they could realistically get striker cards, especially Heung-min Son. I think he played there the most. But again, it's debatable. They could get striker cards. They could remain with their left and right mid cards. But it just depends on what EA think is going to happen. But we've given Heung-min Son a +2 to an 87 rated card. He was brilliant last season. He got a team of the season card. He filled in for Harry Kane. When Harry Kane was injured, Heung-min Son took no pressure. He just moved on, scored goals. He won the Asian Cup, so he didn't have to join the army. So we've got more years of Heung-min Son doing bits, which is brilliant to see. And I think this is a deserved upgrade. He could even go to an 88. He was a very, very good last season. Moving on to Harry Kane. He was injured for the latter half of the season. He started off the season very well. He got an upgrade from an 89 to a 90. I think he'll keep that upgrade. I think it's fair enough to keep that upgrade. And he also got, last season, he played a lot deeper and got a lot more, showed off his passing range, basically. So I've given him a passing upgrade. But he also did get quite a few goals as well. So I think it's fair to keep his upgrade at 90. Moving on to the final player in the video is going to be Lucas Moura, another player who filled in for Harry Kane very well. He was the one that scored the winner against Ajax to get them to the Champions League final. He scored a hat-trick. I think he scored the first hat-trick at the new Tottenham stadium. What else has happened for Lucas Moura? Just a very good year last year, basically. And I think that's going to show on his rating. He's going to get an 84. He was the first player of the month on FIFA last year. I remember that because his card was very easy to do, but it was a very crap card. So I've got 6 potential teams that I can do for the next ratings video. It just depends what one I want to do first, and depends what one interests me the most. But let's quickly go back over the ratings of the players. So we've got 87 Lloris and 80 Rose, 87 Vertonghen, 87 Alderweireld and 85 Sanchez, 81 Aurier, 74 Walker Peters, 78 Eric Dyer, 80 Sissoko, 83 Ndombele, 83 Lo Celso, 83 Dele Alli, 89 Eriksen, 87 Heung-min Son, 90 Kane and an 84 Lucas. So the options for the next upgrade video are Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, PSG, Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. So I will do one of those 6 next. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I hope you guys have enjoyed the Premier League upgrade predictions so far. If you have, please like, subscribe and peace.